Egypt is the gateway to the vast and potentially lucrative continent of Africa. It is the 15th largest country by population in the world with 80 million inhabitants. The rising middle classes are hungry for Western goods and services. But the gap between rich and poor is as extreme as ever. A tough market for Starbucks to crack. And there's already a rival there. Egypt's own specialty coffee chain, Cilantro. Maher Maqsood founded the first shop in 2000 with his business partner Nader Lazi, 6 years before Starbucks entered the Egyptian market.
We had this restaurant operating upstairs, and we had this great space on the ground floor of the building, and we didn't know what to do with it. So we decided, bring down a coffee machine and start producing some sandwiches upstairs and make the best of that space. And it took off beyond our wildest expectations.
Cilantro occupies prime locations in Cairo's most exclusive areas, attracting the kind of client that perfectly fits the Starbucks profile.
It's a very nice place. It's coffee, it's music. Good prices. Very good prices. It's very suitable to handle our meetings here, and we can discuss it easily. And the general atmosphere helps us to do so.
Cilantro already has 25 stores and are opening another every month, with franchise requests coming in from all over the world.
We have several offers for several countries in the region. We have people from Jordan, from Saudi Arabia, from Kuwait, from Dubai, from Qatar, from Algeria, from Morocco, from Tunisia. Definitely we'll be opening one, if not two countries in the region. And we might be finalizing agreements for a country outside the Middle East in 2007.
This is the kind of news that will infuriate Starbucks, desperate to find local staff to run their new Cairo store. They are unlikely to get many from Cilantro.
The turnover of workers here is 2% per year, and we invest heavily in our employees. We deal with them in a careful way and offer them incentives. This makes the employees feel more connected with the place. They will have no desire to leave us because they feel that the place represents a good future for them.
Back in 2005, Cilantro decided to sell to the El Saweedi group. It was unclear just why Saweedi wanted to have a stake in Cilantro. But it does put him in a very strong bargaining position in the region should bigger coffee companies come in wanting to join the market.
Hisham Saweedi was bidding for and owned multiple brands, which he has since sold off, but he's kept Cilantro is the only one he's kept at the moment. He may have been a negotiator. I'm not aware of that, but it certainly wasn't at the same time.
Mr. Saweedi was unavailable for comment about the nature of his negotiations. But he won't have missed the fact that Starbucks have just opened their first store in Cairo. Their PR representative in the Middle East refused to discuss the company's proposed expansion, and Cilantro are not intimidated by the rhetoric.
Forget about numbers. 10,000 stores doesn't mean anything. Look, if I'm sitting in this store, I can care, and I'm not getting good service and I'm not happy. I can care less if there are 10,000 stores all around the world. What I care about is in this store that I'm happy right now where I am. I'm getting good quality, I'm comfortable, and this is what counts. We don't look at numbers. I don't know how many stores we will open. We can open another 10 and be very content, and we can open another 1,000 stores and feel we're successful. As long as you genuinely care about the customer, then you'll succeed, and success is not in numbers.
Can Cilantro really stop the Starbucks bulldozer? More importantly, will they be able to prevent their company from being swallowed up by Starbucks in a corporate takeover, just as Seattle's Best Coffee was 4 years ago?
We need to know how we are going to deal with a large concept like Starbucks. We need to be confident, and I think up to now and what we've seen, this gave us actually more confidence that we can handle it. We can handle it very well, and we believe we can succeed.
I think that Starbucks at the end of the day in Egypt is going to be the absolute fast food of coffee, and Cilantro is going to give them a major run for their money.
There are many other reasons why Starbucks may find it tough to get into the Middle East. It's a battle that's not just about competition.
Shisha, you find shisha everywhere. Everywhere in the world you find shisha. At England you find shisha at Queen's Way. At shisha at Queen's Way you find shisha. Travel to London, I said shisha at Queen's Way. So you find shisha but maybe famous. When you said someone at shisha, maybe Egypt shisha is famous for that.
It's very Eastern, Eastern thing, It's something like cigarettes, but it's more here in Arab countries than Europe and America.
Shisha not available anytime. So if you want to take a shisha, you have to get the coffee.
Starbucks? Cilantro? No, never heard of them.
I don't feel relaxed. I can't have the seat that I want. It's about money and atmosphere. I may have money in my pocket to go to the coffee shop, but I don't feel comfortable there.
I like to go to a place where I can feel relaxed, like here. I go to local cafes. Everything is good. Prices, people, the football. They know Allah very well, and they know people too.
It is difficult to imagine 3 Starbucks outlets on this street. For the moment, Starbucks has hit the Cairo city centre shopping mall with its very first Egyptian outlet. Will the locals buy it? But what does Starbucks have to say about all of this? Do they even care about how the world seems to see them, without a thought for the damage their expansion might do to local businesses and the historical community? We don't know what they think. They don't give interviews. We offered Starbucks the opportunity to participate in this program on 4 separate occasions. In Seattle in December and January, in Cairo, and in their UK offices in February. On all 4 occasions, they declined. We would have liked to have asked them about the effect of their business model on emerging markets.
Certainly in our research that we see at the moment, the themes of authenticity, of localness, anti-globalization in a sense, are important themes.
We have some international brands coming into Egypt where the design is done abroad and literally a container is brought in with all of the finishing materials, all of the furniture, all of everything else, because the research and development is being done in XYZ cities around the world.
I think they've approached the Chinese market very similar to the way they seem to approach most of their markets, in that one-size-fits-all. I have previously worked for Starbucks, and the way that they operate is that you will get a concept, design, a type of store, a layout, and a particular methodology of doing business, and that's it. There's very, very little deviation to that, and equally, you have to have absolute critical permission to actually start doing any form of local supply, although they have started to do that more.
We were also denied the chance to question Starbucks about the other issues affecting their current expansion plans, such as the trademark dispute with the Ethiopian farmers.
The Starbucks CEO, Jim Donald, a couple of days ago said that he didn't understand what is really going on. I mean, he doesn't understand the difference between certification and trademark. When they sell a cup of coffee for $3, I mean, the coffee growers are getting less than 3 cents, according to the recent data gathered by Oxfam. If you see the profit margin, the net profit margin that we are asking to get through this trademark, if Starbucks signs the acknowledgement and acknowledges the ownership of Ethiopia, Ethiopia will get $88 million a year. I mean, that's a huge thing.
The Ethiopian story is already losing Starbucks support in Seattle, the very city of their own birth. And in Europe, some councils in the UK have begun putting a limit on the number of outlets Starbucks are allowed to open in any one street. Finally, we wanted to ask Starbucks about their rivalry with Seattle's Best Coffee and how a thriving independent competitor became a wholly owned, benign Starbucks subsidiary. And why a search for founder Jim Stewart on their website today produces an empty screen. But as we've seen, they don't give interviews.
Coffee growers that we work with, and I think the bulk of the coffee industry in the producing countries, don't just have a blanket view of the coffee trade. They know what the big multinationals are doing.
The fact that they're everywhere, and I could name a couple places where you look to the left, there's one, you look to the right, there's one. It's just creepy.
It's a very comfortable local environment for a lot of people to go to and you know, unless there's something else nearby, well, what choice have you got?
Increasingly, they know about the fair trade alternatives, the companies like Cafe Direct, who are trading in a different way, who are valuing long-term relationships, who are really interested in sustainability. And I think it's, you know, we believe that the more transparency you have in the market, the more chance there is that the best practice will win out in the end.